When you're on an interview, you want to make sure you are asking the right questions to make an informed decision on whether this is the right company for you.
Next Level Coaching.
Hey, I'm Jim Kelly with Next Level Coaching, and I'm here to bring your career to the next level. So today we're going to talk about when you're in an interview, and part of the interview comes where you're supposed to ask the questions to the interviewer. Now, first off, if they don't give you an opportunity to ask questions, that is a huge red flag and probably a firm you should avoid. But most interviews, most of the time, are going to have a portion where you can ask the questions. So, I'm going to give you 3 very good questions to ask when you are in that position. So, the first question we're going to talk about today is, why is this role open? So, there's a couple reasons why a role could be open. Someone has decided, I'm going to retire, it's the end of my career, I'm done, please find somebody to take my role. That's fantastic. You always want to see someone being able to end their career. Number 2, someone is left for another role. Again, this is especially in today's economy, this is fairly normal, and it's going to happen time and time again because a lot of firms, a lot of the time, aren't paying people what they should in their end of year compensations. So if you're only getting a 1 or 2% raise, it's likely to get your market value that you're going to have to go to another firm at some point. Now, given that, people are going to leave roles. So it's important to know if someone's leaving the role because they had a better opportunity somewhere else. And then the third reason that you can get a new role is growth in the department, which that's always a very good sign that you're heading into a role with growth, because when that happens, that means there's opportunity for promotions down the line, because generally when there's growth, there's going to be continued growth in the department, at least for a while. And that having that extra opportunity to advance your career is always a fantastic thing. You never want to be in the department that is shrinking. You want to be in the one that's growing. So, by asking this question, you're finding out the root cause of why the position's open, and it helps you make an informed decision on whether this is a good path for you. And, it can also lead to a follow-up question of, well, if someone's leaving the role, well, how long does the average employee stay with this team? Because if they're only staying 6 months to a year, that tells you something about the department, and it might not be where you want to go. You might like toxic things, and a toxic workplace might be your ideal thing. And which case, I would say that's a perfect place for you. Go ahead and do that. I know for myself personally, I would be hightailing it out of there as quickly as humanly possible. But you make your own decisions. The next question I want to talk about is, what can I be doing in the first 6 months to make your job easier? So what this does to the interviewer is it, one, makes them see you in the job. So now that they're envisioning you in the role, it's going to be easier for them to make the connection of, oh, you actually fit here. You're part of the team already. Why wouldn't I hire you? And it gives you an idea of possible issues that are happening in the department that they're going to need help with. And, if it sounds like they're trying to unload their entire job to you, that could be a red flag. But it could also give you indicators of, this person can not only see me in the role, but they can see ways that I can help them and grow. And you always, always, always want to be growing. It's the most important thing you can be doing in your professional career. as soon as you stop growing, you are putting a, stopper in the way of you expanding your ability to get more money. And I don't know about you, but the only reason I work is for money. If I was a billionaire, I would be playing my guitar all day. I would be playing video games all day, hanging out with friends and family, and just relaxing and having a good life. But I'm not in that boat, so I have to work. Now, I very much enjoy the work that I do. Don't get me wrong. But I don't work for fun, I work for money. And most of the people, most of the time, that's how they're coming into work as well. You can take lots of joy in your work, a lot of pride in your work, without it being work is why I live. And again, we want to be making sure we're growing, because learning new skills is how you improve and how you get a higher paycheck at the end of the day. So, if they have good ideas for that sound like they're things you would be interested in, that is a green flag for this role. The last question we're going to talk about today, and there's a million more good interview questions you'd be asking your interviewer, but we're going to only focus on 3 today because, again, I talk ad nauseum. But the one we're going to go with here is, can you tell me about your corporate culture? Now, this is going to be a question where you want to listen to their tone as much as you listen to their words. Because if they sound excited when they're talking about their corporate culture, that means they actually like the company they're working for. If they don't get excited talking about it, again, it doesn't necessarily mean they dislike it, but it does generally mean they're not going to be as passionate about it. And we want to listen to what they're saying about it and how they're explaining their corporate culture. But you also want to be listening to make sure that you're not hearing any red flags of, we're all a family here. That is, family are people who you are stuck with. Friends, colleagues are people you are with by choice. Now, I love my family to death, and I would not trade them for the world. Okay, I'm not saying family is a bad thing, but in a corporate culture, families tend to be a red flag. But when you're listening to this, you're going to get an idea for what the firm's about. And another follow-up for that is often, how long does the average employee go between promotions? And that is a very telling question. If it's, very, very short period of time, either they're a very high growth firm, which is possible. That does happen, and it's a very good sign if that's the case. Or they have high turnover, and that is a very, very bad sign. So you can combine that with the previous questions to get to see if that is the case. But we want to make sure we are vetting them completely, and we want to make sure we have opportunity for our career at the firm, because our goal is never to hop from company to company to company to company. It's sometimes what we have to do, but it should never be our goal. Our goal is always to do our best for the firm we're working for, and hopefully the firm treats you right and you never have to go anywhere else. If that's not the case, we do have to take care of ourselves. It's super important to remember that when you're interviewing with a company, that you are interviewing them as much as they are interviewing you. You are just as important in an equation as the firm. And you have as much power in the hiring process as they do, because you can go, this is not the firm for me, let me keep looking. And we'll get into some negotiation tips at a later point for when you actually do get the role, but that's not this video. So make sure you're asking questions that are going to inform your decision on whether this is the right firm for you. Now, if you've watched to this point, please hit the like button. Please gently hit the subscribe button. Don't smash it like other channels tell you to. You could hurt your finger or your phone. I don't want that happening. Now, you go ahead and have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.